Hello, everyone, and what a truly wonderful moment it is to be right here with you today. Because today is the kind of day where you get to design something incredibly powerful, the very best version of yourself, starting from the very first minute your eyes open.
That is exactly right. And that is precisely what we are diving into today. We are talking about how to start your day right. How to build a morning motivation routine that is so strong, so clear, and so intentional that it makes you 10 times more productive in everything you do. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and instead of feeling groggy or confused, you feel focused, you feel energized, you feel completely ready to win the day before anyone else has even had their first cup of coffee.
Building that positive morning momentum changes everything, Abel. Welcome back to the Mr. English Fluent Tutor podcast, your cozy little place to learn easy English through real, everyday conversations. I'm Anna.
And I am Abel. We are your two English friends, right here to share the ultimate steps for a successful morning.
And in today's conversation, we are going to explore some really beautiful ideas together. We'll talk about what a truly productive morning looks like. We'll share some wonderful analogies that make the whole concept so easy to understand. We'll do our calm word tour with 6 really useful words. And we have a very exciting Say It Better segment where we help you sound more natural and more confident in English.
So much good stuff packed into one conversation. Are you ready, Anna?
I am absolutely ready. Let's go.
Okay, so Anna, let me just say this first. Most people, when they think about being productive, they think it's about doing more things, squeezing more tasks into fewer hours, rushing from one thing to the next all day long.
Oh, and that sounds exhausting just thinking about it, honestly.
It really does. And here's the thing. Real productivity, the kind that makes your whole day feel smooth and satisfying, it actually starts much earlier than most people realize. It starts in the morning, in those very first quiet moments after you wake up.
Yes, and I love that you said quiet moments, because that word quiet is doing so much work there. Those early morning moments when the world is still peaceful, that's when your brain is the most fresh, the most open, and the most ready to absorb direction.
Exactly. And this is where I want to introduce our first big analogy today, Anna, because I think it makes this whole idea just click so perfectly.
Oh, I love a good analogy. Please go ahead.
Okay, so imagine an airplane getting ready to take off from the runway. It doesn't just suddenly jump into the sky, right? It builds speed very slowly and very intentionally on the ground first.
Right, it rolls down the runway, it gathers more and more energy, and then at just the right moment, it lifts smoothly and powerfully into the air.
Precisely. And once it's up there, once it's taken off cleanly and confidently, the rest of the flight is so much more stable, so much more efficient, and so much more successful because of that strong beginning on the ground.
Oh, I love that. So our morning is the runway, right? Our morning is that critical stretch of ground where we either build the right momentum to carry us through the whole day or we don't.
That's it perfectly. And the word momentum here is so important, Anna. Let's slow down on that word for just a second because it's one of our key words for today.
Yes, absolutely. So momentum, that word momentum, it means the force or energy that keeps something moving forward once it's already started. Like if you push a ball down a hill, it keeps rolling faster and faster. That growing energy, that's momentum.
And in daily life, you might hear someone say, for example, once I completed my first task of the morning, I felt a strong momentum building inside me, and I kept going for hours without stopping.
Oh, that's such a real feeling. And once you experience that kind of productive morning momentum, you genuinely want to create it every single day.
You really do. And this leads us perfectly into our second analogy, which I think is just as beautiful as the airplane one.
Go for it, Abel.
Okay, so imagine a row of domino pieces standing in a perfectly straight line on a table. Every single piece is connected to the next one. Now, what happens when you push just the very first domino?
They all fall, one after the other, so smoothly, so naturally, without any extra effort. The first one falls, and all the others simply follow.
Exactly right. And your morning works in the exact same way. The very first action you take when you open your eyes in the morning is like pushing that very first domino. If that first action is a healthy, positive, and intentional one, everything else in your day tends to fall into place beautifully after it.
Ugh, that gives me chills, genuinely. So the message is that one good choice in the morning creates a kind of beautiful chain reaction of good choices throughout the rest of the day.
Exactly. In this first intentional action, this very first positive domino you push, we have a very special name for it in the world of personal development. It's called an anchor habit.
Anchor habit. Let's talk about that phrase for a moment because it's one of our 6 key words for today, and it's such a powerful concept. So, an anchor, when we talk about a ship, an anchor is the heavy object that is dropped into the water to keep the ship perfectly stable and in one place. It doesn't let the ship drift away.
And an anchor habit works in the same way for your day. It's one small, consistent, positive action you do every single morning that keeps your whole day stable, grounded, and on course. It doesn't let your energy or your focus drift away.
A simple example of an anchor habit might be making your bed the moment you get up, or drinking a full glass of water before you touch your phone, or spending just 5 minutes writing down 3 things you want to focus on today.
Yes, and what makes it an anchor habit specifically is that you do it every single day at the same time, without negotiation, without debate, without asking yourself whether you feel like it or not.
Because when you ask yourself whether you feel like doing something, you often talk yourself out of it before you even begin.
You are so right. The anchor habit removes that conversation entirely. It is just something you do. It is automatic. It is part of who you are in the morning.
And here is something really interesting. When you build this anchor habit, when it becomes truly automatic, you free up so much mental energy that would otherwise go toward making that decision every day. And that freed up mental energy goes directly into your actual work, your focus, your creativity.
That is a concept that so many highly productive people talk about, making small, important decisions automatic so that your best mental energy is saved for the things that truly matter.
Yes, exactly. And speaking of what truly matters in the morning, let us talk about the specific kinds of anchor habits that can genuinely transform your morning energy. Because I don't want this to stay abstract. I want our listeners to be able to walk away with clear, practical ideas they can try tomorrow.
Perfect. I love that. Let's get very specific.
Okay, so the first category I think about is movement. Even just 5 minutes of gentle movement in the morning, stretching, a short walk, some light exercises, anything that gets your body awake and your blood flowing has an enormous effect on your mental clarity for the rest of the day.
Oh, absolutely. Science consistently shows that even a very short burst of physical movement in the morning increases something called cortisol in a healthy way, which is basically your body's natural wake-up and focus chemical. Your brain becomes sharper, more alert, more ready to handle complex thinking.
And you don't need a full gym workout to get that benefit. Even 10 jumping jacks and a 30-second stretch can make a real difference to how your morning feels.
Which is such an important point, because one of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to build better morning habits is they try to make the habit too big, too ambitious, too dramatic from day one, and then it feels overwhelming and they stop after 3 days.
Oh, that is so relatable. You set a big, exciting goal on Sunday night, and by Wednesday morning, you've already abandoned it because it feels too hard too fast.
Exactly. So the smarter strategy is to start incredibly small, so small that it almost feels too easy, because a habit that feels too easy is a habit you will actually do. And when you actually do it every day, it grows naturally over time into something much more powerful.
I've heard people call this the tiny habit principle. You make the starting version of your habit so small, so achievable, that your brain almost feels embarrassed to skip it.
And over time, that tiny habit becomes an anchor, and that anchor becomes part of your identity, and eventually you are the kind of person who genuinely has a productive, energized morning without forcing it.
Beautiful. Okay, so movement is number 1. What else would you add to the list of powerful morning anchor habits, Abel?
I would absolutely add intention setting, and this one is so simple but so deeply powerful. Before you look at any screen, before you open any social media app or email or news feed, you take just 2 to 3 minutes to write down, or even just say out loud, 3 specific things you want to accomplish today.
Oh, I love that. And I want to highlight a word here that's going to come up in our word tour a little later, which is the word vague. Because the problem with most morning planning attempts is that they're far too vague.
Yes, let's talk about that. So, vague means unclear, not specific, not detailed enough to be useful. For example, saying to yourself, I want to get a lot of work done today. That is vague. It gives your brain no real direction, no real picture of what success looks like.
Compare that to saying, today I will complete my project report before lunch, I will respond to all my emails by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I will spend 30 minutes learning new English vocabulary in the evening. That's specific. That's clear. That's something your brain can actually work toward.
And there's a phrase related to this that we want to highlight today. Instead of saying you have a vague plan, we want to help you move toward what we call a clear address for your day.
Oh, I adore that phrase, a clear address. So think about it this way. If you're trying to visit a friend and they give you a vague description of where they live, like, I'm somewhere near the big park in the northern part of the city, you could drive around for hours and never find them.
But if they give you a clear address, a street name, a house number, a postal code, you type it into your navigation app and you arrive directly and efficiently without wasting a single minute.
Your daily goals work exactly the same way. A vague intention is like a vague address. Your brain drives around all day feeling busy but never truly arriving anywhere meaningful.
A clear, specific goal, a clear address, gives your brain precise directions so it knows exactly where to go and how to measure when it has successfully arrived.
I love this so much. And this connects directly to our next keyword for today, which is intentional. Being intentional with your morning means you're making conscious, deliberate choices about how you use your time, your attention, and your energy. You're not just floating through the morning on autopilot.
Yes, so the difference between an accidental morning and an intentional morning is enormous. An accidental morning looks like this. You wake up, you immediately grab your phone, you scroll through social media for 20 minutes, you watch a few random videos, you suddenly realize it's already 8:30 and you feel behind before the day has even properly begun.
Oh, goodness. And that feeling of already being behind before 9 o'clock in the morning, that creates such a stressful, anxious energy that follows you through the rest of the day.
Completely. Whereas an intentional morning looks like this. You wake up, you don't touch your phone for the first 20 minutes, you drink a glass of water, you do your 5-minute movement anchor habit, you write down your 3 clear addresses for the day, and you feel calm, clear, and completely in control before the rest of the world starts pulling at your attention.
And here is the beautiful irony. The intentional morning person actually starts engaging with the world a little later, but they accomplish so much more because they begin from a place of clarity and calm rather than reaction and stress.
That is such a key insight, Anna. Starting from clarity versus starting from reaction. Those two different starting points create two completely different kinds of days.
They really do. And I want to touch on one more element of a powerful morning routine before we move into our word tour, and that is the element of learning. Spending even a small amount of time every morning in learning mode, whether that is listening to a podcast like this one, reading a few pages of a book, practicing vocabulary, or watching a short educational video, sets your brain into a growth mindset right from the very start.
And that growth mindset energy tends to stay with you throughout the day. You feel curious, you feel capable, you feel like someone who is actively building a better version of themselves. And that feeling motivates you to keep making good choices all day long.
Which is exactly why so many people who have incredibly productive lives will tell you that learning is a non-negotiable part of their morning anchor habits, not because they have to, but because they have experienced how much it changes their whole daily energy.
And our listeners are doing exactly that right now, learning English in the morning, building their skills, building their momentum. That is a genuinely productive choice, and you should feel proud of yourself for it.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of building skills, I think it is a perfect moment to slow things down a little and move into our calm word tour section.
Yes, let us do it. I love this part of our conversation.
Okay, so our calm word tour today features 6 words and phrases that came up naturally throughout our conversation, and we are going to go through them slowly and clearly, one by one, taking turns. The first word is productive. Abel, would you like to define it?
Of course, productive means completing or achieving a good amount of meaningful work or positive results in the time you have available. It's not about being busy, it's about being effective. For example, I had a very productive morning because I finished 2 important reports and still had time to take a short walk before lunch.
Beautiful. Number 2 is our word momentum. Momentum is the growing energy or force that keeps you moving forward once you've already started, like a rolling snowball that gets bigger and faster as it travels down the hill. For example, after I completed my first small task of the morning, I felt a strong momentum, and the rest of my work flowed easily and naturally.
Love that example. Number 3 is anchor habit. An anchor habit is a single, consistent, positive action you do every morning at the same time to keep your day stable, focused, and on track, just like a ship's anchor keeps the vessel from drifting. For example, drinking a full glass of water and writing 3 goals every morning is my anchor habit, and it completely changes the quality of my entire day.
Perfect. Number 4 is the word vague. Vague means unclear, not specific enough, missing the details that make something useful or actionable. A vague plan gives your brain no clear direction to follow. For example, I used to say, I want to be more productive today, but that was far too vague, so I started writing down specific tasks with specific times instead.
Such a useful word. Number 5 is clear address. A clear address means a specific, detailed, and precise goal or plan that gives your brain exact directions, just like a street address gives a navigation system the exact location it needs to arrive successfully. For example, instead of having a vague idea about my day, I now give myself a clear address for each important task, and I arrive at my goals much faster.
Wonderful. And our 6th and final word in today's calm word tour is intentional. Being intentional means making conscious, deliberate, thoughtful choices about how you use your time and energy, rather than simply reacting to whatever happens around you. For example, I remain completely intentional with my early hours to maximize my focus.
That is a gorgeous set of 6 words. Say them with us one more time, listeners. Productive, momentum, anchor habit, vague, clear address, intentional.
Those 6 words are going to serve you so well, not just in English conversations, but in real daily life choices. They're vocabulary for a better morning and a better day.
Perfectly said. Now, are we ready for our favorite part of the episode?
The Say It Better segment. Yes, I cannot wait. I love this section so much.
So for our listeners who are newer to this segment, here's how it works. We take simple, direct English sentences that many learners use when talking about their mornings or their productivity, and we show you a more natural, more expressive, more fluent version of the same idea using the language a native or advanced English speaker might use.
And the beautiful thing is, you don't have to memorize all of these right now. Just hearing them builds your ear for natural English, and over time, those patterns start appearing in your own speech very naturally.
So let's start with number 1. The basic version is, I want to do a lot of work today. Now that sentence is perfectly understandable, but it's a little flat. It doesn't show much specific thinking. The much more expressive and natural version would be, I want to set a clear strategy to become 10 times more productive today.
Ooh, can you feel how much stronger that second version sounds? I want to set a clear strategy to become 10 times more productive today. It tells us your mindset, your approach, and your specific ambition all in one smooth sentence.
Number 2, the basic version is, a good morning makes a good day. Again, perfectly fine, but quite simple. The better, more native-sounding version is, starting your morning right builds incredible momentum for the rest of your hours.
Starting your morning right builds incredible momentum for the rest of your hours. And notice how the word momentum, which is in our word tour today, appears naturally in that better sentence. That's how vocabulary grows. It moves from a definition into actual usage.
Exactly right. Number 3, the basic version is, I have a small plan for my morning. Sweet and simple, but we can make it shine so much more. The better version is, I have established a simple anchor habit that sets a peaceful tone for my day.
Ooh, I have established a simple anchor habit that sets a peaceful tone for my day. I love the phrase peaceful tone there. It paints such a clear, calming picture of what a good morning feels like.
Number 4, the basic version is, I know what to do when I wake up. And the better, more fluent version is, I remain completely intentional with my early hours to maximize my focus.
I remain completely intentional with my early hours to maximize my focus. And there is our word intentional appearing again, right? In context, which is exactly how good vocabulary learning works.
Number 5, the basic version is, my morning plan is not clear. Short, functional, but not very expressive. The better version is, I realized that my early routine was far too vague to be helpful.
I realized that my early routine was far too vague to be helpful. And there is the word vague, perfectly placed, making the sentence feel so much more thoughtful and self-aware. That is the kind of language that makes people say, ooh, this person really thinks deeply about their life.
And our final one, number 6, the basic version is, I am happy I listened to this early today. Very nice sentiment. The much more polished and expressive version is, I am proud of myself for choosing to invest this early window of time into my morning motivation.
I am proud of myself for choosing to invest this early window of time into my morning motivation. Let us say that one together, listeners. Say it with us. I am proud of myself for choosing to invest this early window of time into my morning motivation.
Because you genuinely should be proud. You made a real choice this morning to invest in yourself, in your English, in your thinking, and that is a choice that has real, lasting value in your life.
Absolutely. And that brings us to the heart of what we always want to leave you with before we close today's conversation, which is this: building a more productive life, building a beautiful morning routine, growing your English, none of these things happen overnight, and none of them need to.
That is so important to hear. Sometimes people listen to a conversation like this and they feel inspired for a day or two. And then when they miss one morning or one habit, they feel like they have failed completely and they give up entirely.
And that is simply not how real, lasting growth works. Real growth looks much more like this. You hear an idea today, you try it tomorrow, maybe it goes well, maybe it is a little messy. You try again the day after. Some days are better than others, but over weeks and months, something quietly and beautifully shifts inside you.
You start waking up a little earlier without forcing it. You start reaching for water instead of your phone. You start writing your 3 clear addresses for the day before any screen pulls your attention away. And one morning, you realize, quietly and with a beautiful sense of surprise, that you have become the kind of person who has a powerful morning.
Not because you forced it, not because you had a perfect discipline streak, but because you kept choosing, gently and consistently, to take one small positive step at a time.
Every single morning that you wake up and do even one small intentional thing differently, you push a domino, and those dominoes are quietly building a life you are genuinely proud of.
So please be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Celebrate the small wins. Finishing this conversation today is a win. Writing one clear goal tonight for tomorrow morning is a win. Drinking one extra glass of water when you wake up tomorrow is a win.
All of those small wins count, every single one, and they add up to something magnificent over time.
We believe in you so completely, and we are so grateful and honored that you chose to spend this morning window of time with us here on the Mr. English Fluent Tutor podcast.
Now, before we say goodbye, we have one special question for our amazing community, and we would genuinely love to read your answer in the comments section below.
Oh yes, please tell us, Abel, what is the question for today?
Here it is. What is one small anchor habit you want to practice tomorrow morning to start your day right? Tell us in the comments using at least one word from today's word tour. Maybe you will say, I want to build morning momentum by drinking water first thing, or I want to be more intentional by writing a clear address for my day. Whatever feels right for you, write it down below. We read every single comment, and it truly brings us so much joy.
It really does. And writing your answer down is itself an anchor habit of learning. It moves the language from your ears into your hands and into your life. So please do not skip that step.
Beautifully said. And if today's conversation made you feel inspired, if it gave you even one idea you want to try tomorrow morning, please give us a like, share this episode with one friend who also wants to build a better morning, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a single conversation.
Because every episode we create here is designed with so much love and care to help you grow your English and your life at the exact same time.
And we'll be right back here for you in the very next conversation, ready to learn and grow together.
Take care of your English and take care of your heart. This is Anna.
And this is Abel, and you have been listening to the Mr. English Fluent Tutor podcast. Bye.
Do not stop your learning momentum here. Click the next video waiting for you on your screen right now, or explore the additional videos specially selected for you to keep your English progress going strong. We'll see you there.